Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Fred Matiang'i is a very unique candidate, and I'm going to do an extensive video on how unique this gentleman is. But on this particular video, I want to touch on his first message the moment he landed in the country.
Na tujipange, waambie watu wetu tafadhali Gen Z, we can do as much as we want, but if we are not registering and preparing to vote, we have not succeeded. So the drive is we register, we vote, we prepare ourselves to participate effectively and in a quality manner in the forthcoming electoral process.
Exactly. And that is going to form the base of this analysis. But before I take you through, if this is the first time you're watching my videos at Mokwa Times, please take a second or two to subscribe, like, and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, my number is always here. Feel free to engage with me, call me, share with me, and for those who want to support the channel, that is the M-Pesa number, and you're highly welcome. Let me dive into the topic today, but first, let me give you 2 seconds to subscribe before I proceed. Thank you so much. As you could hear, the first message of Dr. Fred Matiang'i, it is to simply tell the youths to register, get IDs, register, so that they can vote in 2027. Now, first of all, let me take you through a brief story about Dr. Fred Matiang'i. Matiang'i has been in the U.S. ever since Uhuru Kenyatta won the elections. Uhuru Kenyatta left office and William Ruto won the elections. Matiang'i went to the U.S. to work with the World Bank. He has been there for quite some time. He came once and promised us that he is going to resign, and indeed he did that. Less than a month, he resigned and is back to the country as we speak today, ready to carry on with his political ambitions. Now, Matiang'i, when he came the first time for the homecoming, the reception was not so big because he did not make it so public, and probably there were no good structures for mobilization. But now, this time round when he came back, people received him immensely from there. The first time he did not talk to the media for quite some time. He did not actually give any long speech within the airport, but this time around he took his time and talked to some media personalities who were there. So when Matiang'i arrived there, people were so many and they received him. He could not go straight to the car. People came, surrounded him, and he had to talk to them. So in his talking, that is when he gave the message that let the youth register so that they can be able to vote in 2027. Why do I talk about this message from Dr. Fred Matiang'i? With me here, I have so many reasons as to why I feel strongly that this message is very significant politically. Number one, we all know that Matiang'i's name emerged from the protests that were held by the Gen Zs of this country. People went to the streets, and as they were pained by William Ruto's ignorance, failure, promises that are not achieved, people started remembering that who in our era has performed in this country. And the name that was ringing in people's minds, it was that of Dr. Fred Matiang'i. And that is how the name of Matiang'i started spreading across the country. And that is how Matiang'i's ambitions started being realized by the people of Kenya. That is how politicians like Onyonka started echoing the voice of Matiang'i locally, that is coming to vie for president for the Republic of Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, so therefore when Matiang'i gives the message to the Gen Zs and millennials of this country, he's simply telling them that I had your call. Now for us to go to the war, you have to have what you call the guns and your bullets ready. And that is registering as a voter and then having your voter card. Very crucial. And that is why actually is appealing to them to register, because he is their candidate. So he needs to tell them to register so that they can vote for him in 2027 the way it is supposed to be. He's also reminding them that the change we need, even if he's not the one, the change can come from voting. Voting is the only constitutional way that is right now likely to take place to take William Ruto out of office. So therefore he's reminding them to come out in large numbers and register, then vote in 2027. The other reason it is that the number of the youths of this country is huge. Statistically, 75% of the youths of the country, of the population of the country, are youths. And if these youths decide to register and vote, these people can determine who becomes the president regardless of the tribe. If they discuss and agree to go to one side, that person will become the president of this country very early in the morning. So therefore, as we speak today, Dr. Fred Matiang'i knows the power of the youth of this country. And he knows that the only way that he can be able also to comfortably beat William Ruto in 2027, he needs these youths on board. it needs them to register and actually vote as well in 2027 August. So that is where we are saying here, ladies and gentlemen, that Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i felt it was important to speak to the youths of Kenya and tell them that being that this June is your month, please make it also a month of resolutions, and that you are going to register and vote immensely in 2027. Number 3 lesson that we learned from Matiang'i's statement, it is that the personality the youth needed in this country, it is with him. A person who does not just approach problems like that. A person who simply comes up with solutions. And he identified the solution, electing leaders who do not mean well for this country. People who just take advantage to go and manipulate those who might not know what's happening and get their support. So he knows that the people of this country, the youth of this country, especially the Gen Zs and millennials, most of them went to school under President Kibaki's regime. And they got free education, which enabled them to learn on what is rightful for them for in this country. So he knows that if he tells them to register, they'll be able to vote consciously at the ballot. So as a result, he shall have sorted one problem. The people who are manipulated by other leaders with money, they are not going to just vote. First, these youths are going to enlighten them. Second, if they vote, at least the youth of this country enlightened will be able to surpass the number of those who have been manipulated. A clear sign that President William Ruto will easily go home very early in the morning, because the Gen Zs, once they register and have voting cards, he knows he does not have their support. So therefore, Matiang'i knows to solve the problem fast in 2027 by taking William Ruto home, he needs Gen Zs to vote consciously and vote on the basis of the character that they know him on. Ladies and gentlemen, the other reason I feel here strongly that Matiang'i had to talk to the youths is the fact that the youths of this country play a significant role as far as what we call the political terrain of the country is concerned. Once Raila Amolo Odinga and many other opposition leaders became dormant and got bored, and actually most of them became selfish, the youths of this country took up the roles of opposition. And William Ruto is having sleepless nights because of these youths of this country. So therefore, Matiang'i knows the power of these people. So when he tells them that please go register, he knows that is the only way these people can be able to at least make use of the abilities that they have shown in the opposition, registering and deciding which leaders are going to rule over them or maybe govern this country in the next few years. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is another reason as to why Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i had to talk to the youths. Lastly, I think it's the game of numbers. As we speak today in the opposition, people are talking of the game of numbers. Rigathi Gachagua has been clear that go mobilize your regions, mobilize your bases, and then we come at the table and share. So in this scenario here, after having the Gusii community, after having the middle class, Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i is now going to the youths and telling them that I'm your candidate and please vote for me. So when he's going to tell them this, when he includes them in his campaigns, eventually we are going to have Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i having the youth support, which will give him a big say in the opposition table. That is crucial. I don't know what's your take as far as Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i is concerned, but please on the comment section, feel free to share with me on his message to the youths of this country. See you next time.